Hello and welcome back to another video on teaching guitars. I know I've not been uploading recently, but I've kind of got new things coming, new things in the pipeline, so we'll be uploading more videos. I think the last one I did was my SG review back in January. But thank you for everyone who has commented, watched the videos, subscribed, all of that. Promise I will start trying to upload a little bit more. Bit difficult every now and then coming up with ideas, and I've been in a bit of a guitar rut, so thank you for your support and everything, and yeah, let's jump into this video. So a lot of people will either have not clicked on this video or clicking on it to probably leave a hateful comment because it's about AI, and AI is kind of being used in this video, but not for generative stuff. It's not being used to alter the sound, it's not being used to alter me, it's not being used to play the guitar for me. I'm talking about using it as a tool. So at work, I work in an engineering company. We're being asked to use discriminating technology, as they're calling it, because everybody goes AI slop and calls it this stuff, in order to help us with our jobs. So, for example, take two components, tell it to compare the schematics, double check, which is the main thing, to make sure that everything you're doing is correct and everything is spat out is correct, and then using that to assess things. So I kind of thought, is there a way it's going to be applied to the music industry? And I thought back to my years when I was a beginner guitarist, first starting out, not knowing what really to do with the amp, not knowing what to do with pedals. Guitars, to be fair, I didn't have any pedals, but we had these Line 6 Spider amps at school. I had no idea what anything did on them. So what if we were to use that to help kind of you new guitarists, or even people like me that are in your analog AI bands, according to the CEO of Fender, to come up with sounds that we'll be able to use live and kind of plugging it into our setup to get, say, somebody goes, I want a Nirvana tone, I want, in this video, like a Zakk Wylde tone, how do I do that? Now, 100% clear, this is not like the recent cases with like D'Addario where they may or may not have been using AI, CEO of Fender making those comments, or all the AI music being generated. This is purely as a tool. I'm still taking these and putting them in and still playing the guitar. So the first tone I asked it for was a No More Tears tone, because there's something about Zakk Wylde's sort of guttural guitar tone that's a little bit different from some other stuff, and is kind of a bit tricky to dial in every now and then. So I asked it, give me a Zakk Wylde tone. I gave it my setup, or a few of the pedals, amp, guitar. First of all, it told me I had the perfect setup for it, which, seeing as it's a Les Paul, that makes sense. But a Les Paul with normal pickups into a DSL 100HR rather than a EMG loaded Les Paul into a JCM 800 or 900 seemed a bit strange, but hey, we'll take compliments wherever we can get them, right? So I put that sound in, and this is what I got. chorus did seem a little bit muted and like it wasn't really doing anything. And when you dug in, it sounded okay, but it could still do with some tweaking. There was a few things there that I'll probably give it a little bit more chorus to kind of get that sort of live sound. And yeah, it was good. It was okay. And if you're looking for okay, if you are playing a bunch of different things in a band like I am, then that would probably work. I wouldn't say no to using that as my sort of heavy guitar tone. So it got me thinking, handles that okay? That's something with a bit more switching, a bit more switching up. So I asked it for a Nirvana tone from Heart-Shaped Box. And this is what it gave me. That's an interesting one because it gave some flange out. The big muff sounded really off. And this is where I think AI is kind of limited. It is ultimately pulling all these things that it's learned from the internet. So if you've got some guy on the internet telling him around and saying, this is how you set up a big muff, he's going to believe it. And that's why you fact check. That is why you play about with it. I did tweak the sound on this one because I was not happy with that big muff sound. Still wasn't 100% happy with it. Something about it was just off. But, you know, again, gets you in the ballpark if that's all you're looking for. This was using my Bagheera 1960 Infinium, but interestingly, the Captor X sounds it gave me were pretty much identical to the Zach Wild tone. Whether that's because there's limited information on it, I don't really know. But yeah, it just gave me the same. So that got me thinking, maybe let's steer in a different direction. Ask for a Gimme Shelter tone by the Rolling Stones, and this is what I got. This is using the V55 HD instead. Gave me different Capture X settings, but it all sounded very muffled, very sort of a bit too, I don't know, it just wasn't clear, lacked clarity. And it was a difficult sound to play with, to be honest, because something just weren't right. And that's where, with these things, you have to tweak to your taste, and nothing can replace the human ear. So you could probably turn that into a usable sound. So what I realised there is maybe the clean sounds are where it struggles. So that's why I asked it, can you give me a 80s inspired guitar tone, clean, chorusy, shimmery? And this is what I got. Now, it told me that these were simply Def Leppard Whitesnake style tones to give me that kind of clean, clear energy that those songs have. And it's no. The chorus was barely existent. I had to change God knows how many settings on the amp to get it to sound like you heard it. And even change guitar. I started out with my Starfire Strat copy, which is HSH. Perfect 80s if you ask me. It just, no, through that sound setup, just didn't sound good. It is a cheap guitar, so I moved over to the PRS. But yeah, I think it really struggled. And again, Capture X settings exactly the same. To be fair, 80s probably is correct, but exactly the same as the other two Marshall settings I asked it for. And you know, the chorus, no, I'd be able to start in a much better sound. But to get you started, maybe it's kind of helping you. Should we mention I use ChatGPT? There are other AI models about. It's just when I got my phone, I use it. I'll ask it. I'll give me a recipe for something. That's all I use it for, to be honest. And that's why I thought, oh, it's kind of the same thing, right? Give me a recipe for this song with these ingredients. Wherever it's pulling its information from, it's very limited. At least it feels like that. Again, it can't actually hear the setup. And everything's a little bit different. And that's where the human ear comes in and human intuition. It's kind of like modelling amps. I've found with modelling amps, especially like on computer and that, some tones sound good, some just, they're missing something. Something's just not there because it's missing that interactive element. And again, that's ChatGPT for you. It can't hear the sounds. It can't hear what your actual setup sounds like. And because of that, you know, it can steer you in the right direction, but it cannot just give you settings and be like, this is perfect for this song. Now, again, coming back to what I said earlier, when I was a beginner guitarist with my crappy little solid state amp with that crappy cheap copy of a guitar, I had no idea what I was doing, tweaking knobs, and just dealt with what I could get out of it. This would definitely be very useful for somebody who's got like a Boss Katana or something along those lines, a little modelling amp that they want to kind of get in a ballpark and get a sound that's good enough for them in a bedroom. For me, as a covers band guitarist, probably wouldn't. I'd much more. I've got a lot more experience with my equipment than ChatGPT, that's for sure. So, because of that, I'd probably stick to me coming up with these sounds. But if you do struggle to get in that ballpark, then maybe give it a try. Now, I hope it's been an interesting little experiment. Feel free to go and try it yourself. Maybe you'll have better. So that's been an interesting little experiment. Feel free to go try it yourself. Maybe you'll get better results with different AI platforms. For me, I think I'm just going to stick to playing guitar and changing settings until I'm happy with what I've got, to be honest. it also takes away that element. There's something so fun about having a pedal board like this. You just go, no, what happens if I do that? What happens if I do that? Oh, can I try and get this sound through that? And remove that element by then reading off your phone whilst tuning things in. It's just sucks a little bit of the fun out of it for me. But yeah, AI is one of those things that we're going to see a lot more. I'm just trying to find a way to actually use it for good and not just replacing guitarists. But yeah, thanks for watching. I enjoyed this video. I've got some more in the pipeline. I've actually got a new pedal turning up today, which I'll do a review on. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.